All right, you ready for part 2?
Yeah.
All right, so this is part 2 of 2. If you are just seeing this for the first time, just hit pause and go back to show number 70, Kiyosama. We're going to number them. So this would be show number 70, and I guess I'll do it show number 70, part 1. Right? So go to show number 70, part 1. This will be show number 70, part 2.
Okay.
Let's go, Kiyosama. Let's go. Great input. Taking your advice. Let's do this. So we just left off on viewer comments. In the previous video's introduction, again, as always, I like to thank everybody. So the second time I'm thanking within the same show, thanks to all of you for even sitting here watching. Thank you so much for your input and how we can get better, because again, this show is for you. We do it for you because we know how it feels to sit back and want to talk tennis, and we've never been able to. And then the couple times we've called into radio shows to talk about it, we kind of get snubbed. So if this way is better, reading the topics and not all the replies, let us know. And if you want us to do something different, let us know as well. Jumping right back into comments, we just on part 1 finished off with the last comment, and this is the next comment directly after the previous.
Rahesh says Novak can beat Nadal in Roland Garros 2019. My words, Carla.
I think that's the truth. If he stays
healthy.
healthy.
I have to roll my eyes. No, I don't think he will win it.
She will disagree with that.
Sorry.
The only reason why...
He's a beast in clay. Nadal is a beast in clay. And believe me, he will do anything and everything for Novak not to beat him.
I like his comment here, and I agree with Rahesh. And let me just explain it for a second. I'm not going to spend too much time here. Djokovic, again, and everybody disagrees with me, but I don't even think Djokovic is 88%. I think he's 85%. And he's winning straightforward. Nadal is probably up around 100. He's up there. He's 98, 99, 100%, somewhere in there, right? Well, Djokovic beat him at Wimbledon, number 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2 is Nadal can only go down. When you're at 100%, you're not going to get any better. You're 100%. You're maxed out. So he can only decline. The scary thing is that Djokovic still has room to go. You know, he's been at 100. What happened. Thank goodness he got back. And
well, you know what?
And he's there. He's going to climb. So all I'm saying is, if he's climbing and beating him, and Nadal can only go down unless Nadal stays at 100% throughout this year, through the ATP finals at the end of the year, through the Australian Open next year, through the brief clay season in Barcelona and Madrid.
He'll pick his tournaments wisely. I mean, I don't think he'll play.
I agree with Rahesh. I think
Justin, you got to remember one thing. Roger Federer was hurt, came back, won 4 slams. Nadal was hurt many times in his career. He couldn't play certain Grand Slams. There's a lot of Grand Slams he didn't play because of knee injury, elbow injury. He came back stronger.
How old is Nadal now?
32. They're only a year apart.
Okay.
And Novak's doing the same thing they did.
I like Rahesh's comment.
So, I mean...
All right, go ahead.
Next comment is by Ivankovo. I assume Grand Slam tournaments are rated higher depending on which part of the world a person lives. For me, Wimbledon and Roland Garros are more important tournaments. The U.S. Open and Australian Open are still Grand Slams, but more like second-rate ones.
Good to hear from you, Ivankovo. Let's go!
Yeah, I might have to read the next one.
Well, you can just bring them out for a second and feel chill. So, Ivankovo, by the way, very good to hear from you. The U.S. Open, for me, and Wimbledon are the most important slams. For me. The Wimbledon, for me, is the most important. I was raised as a serve and volleyer, and as I've aged, I've learned to hold my own from the baseline, but big serve and volleyer. As a kid, I would always watch matches from Laver, even Don Budge, believe it or not. My dad had me watching Don Budge, Fred Perry, Lacoste, the Four Horsemen, let's see, Tim Henman, Pete Sampras, Stefan Edberg, Boris Becker, Philippoussis, Rafter, Courier, even though Courier kind of hung around the baseline a lot.
He won like 3 French Opens.
So these are the players I grew up with, and my father had me watch stuff that he grew up with, the Tildens, the Budges, the Margaret Courts, even though she was a little bit older in there. What was her name? Althea Gibson, Arthur Ashe, and my dad's 80, so he would have us watch a lot of these vintage tennis matches to learn our games, and how I transitioned into a modern game was really kind of on my own, right? Yeah. So Wimbledon for me was the epitome of that. So Wimbledon was always the best for me. The U.S. Open was the second best for me now, and I think before it might have been the French, but I've had the opportunity to go to the U.S. Open twice, assisting with stringing there as kind of an apprentice type thing. And it was a really good time. I got to see Djokovic, I got to see Henin, I got to see Kuznetsova, I got to see the boys championships, the wheelchair championships were amazing. Had some high-intensity racket strings to do, and sometimes, hey, I'm human, I may have missed some mistakes, but I learned from them, and the second year I went back and did much better. But the first year of stringing, or helping out thereof, was pretty intense for me.
Yeah.
But that was 07 and 08. 2 years in a row, I was living in Vermont, and it wasn't a bad drive to Queens and to stay there and basically work for free in order to get grounds tickets and center court for finals. But those are my two most important. I'd love to go to Wimbledon. Never been there. Would love to stand on the court. Who's that going to Madrid and Barcelona?
I think it's Wainham.
Wainham
I think it's Wainham Chia or
no, it's Wainham Chia.
Is it?
I think it's Wainam Chia. He's going to Barcelona and Madrid. I don't think it's Rahesh. I think it's Wainam Chia.
No, I know it's not Rahesh.
But in order for me, he's going there, and I told him in an old video, if you could just stand on those courts, wouldn't it be a beautiful thing to stand on the court where Rafa is owned? And he's a Rafa fan. For me, if I could go stand on center court at Wimbledon, not because of Federer at all, because of everyone that has over the many, if not 100 or plus years, 100 plus years, right? Yeah, 1800 was going on at Wimbledon.
Yeah,
I would love to stand there. So for me, U.S. Open, because I've been there and actually was kind of part of helping out in a way for 2 years straight, and then for Wimbledon, I was brought up on it.
For me, U.S. Open, because I'm a New Yorker and I'm from Queens, and I trained there as a kid with the Reebok team. I got to see many of the pros train there, and Wimbledon second because I think it's a prestige tournament. It's tough to play on grass. Not everyone can play on grass. You have to adapt to it.
But But
everybody's entitled to what they like. You know, maybe Westerners don't like this and this, and then these. You know, so
yeah, I mean,
it doesn't matter.
He's right. It's probably where you are at.
Where you're located, correct.
Exactly. All right, next question.
Ivankova says, the reason I don't like Federer but respect what he has achieved over the years is that when winning Wimbledon in 2009 by beating Andy Roddick, he walked on the court with a custom-made jacket decorated with a 15 logo, which represents his 15th Grand Slam win. I think that was a total disrespect towards his opponent. Like, never mind this guy. This is a final and I will win easy, so I have made myself a special jacket for this occasion.
All right, was that the end of the comment?
Yes.
Okay, so this was a learning experience for me. We watched that match together, and that match I was elated about, like super happy, and Carla was like super sad. I never was a big Roddick fan because, again, his reliance on the big serve and then just an inside-out type or inside-in type game. I liked Roddick as a person. I actually got to go to an exhibition event where Marty Fish, Andy Roddick, and the Bryan brothers were here in Mobile, Alabama, and this was probably 2004 or 5 or 2003 or 4, and it was a really good time. He's a really fun guy, fun to be around, entertaining, and same with Marty Fish and the Bryan brothers. But I never was a big fan of his game. The two-handed backhand, again, I hit a 1. I did not know though that he had a preemptive insulting jacket on.
He did.
That said 15 on it. I remember when he came out in the jacket, and he had trousers on too. He had trousers, and the trousers were put on backwards. They were put on backwards. He had his pants on backwards. The pocket was in the front, and he was being rushed out, and he didn't have time to correct it. So I knew about the pants being on backwards, but I did not know he had 15 as he came out. That, I think, is wrong.
I was angry when Federer won that Wimbledon. I wanted Andy Roddick to win this Wimbledon. I thought he had match points. Here's his chance to win another title. He deserved it. You know, he always would lose to Federer and was close to beating him. I was like a huge slap in Roddick's face, in my opinion. You know, and especially when the interview, he says, "Don't worry, Roddick, you'll have another chance to win one." We all knew he wasn't going to have another chance. It was pretty much the end of his career.
Great match. Again, where did it go? 9-7 in the 5th?
Sad, actually.
Wasn't it 9-7 in the 5th?
Sad. That's why I didn't like Federer at that time.
Anyway, I did not know that. That for me, we have a lot of good comments every day.
Plus, I didn't want him to pass Pete Sampras.
Who left that comment?
Who's my favorite player.
Who left that? Ivankova?
Ivankova.
He's never got a comment of the day. And there is so much good stuff here. It's crazy. And the past couple of days have been humbling because I now know that I'm like the least knowledgeable in this entire group because your stats never cease to amaze me. This comment here, though, I've been a Federer fan since day one. And again, I'm a fan of everyone. Please don't think I'm going against the grain here because I know we're mostly Djokovic fans, but I'm one too. I'm a Djokovic fan too. But I did not know that Roger busted out in Wimbledon Center Court on the way out. I knew backwards pants, but I did not know the white coat, sport coat, with the crest on his lapel had a preemptive 15 on it when he hadn't won it.
It's messed up.
That's messed up, and I'll have to think about that and then respond about that later, because that's kind of troublesome for my heart.
Yeah.
Kind of troublesome. Great comment of the day right there. Let's go!
We got a new viewer comment. Aisu Koyu. Koyu because I was 2 L's, I'm guessing. I am a Djokovic fan, and my favorite women's player are Sharapova and Azarenka.
Oh, Lord. Rahesh, I can't talk about screeching, but I'm out on those two.
I love them. Actually, I enjoy watching them. I love their fight and spirit, and I hope they can get back to tennis.
I like Lazicki and Pekovic.
I hope they can get back to winning titles.
Let's go, Lazicki. Let's go, Pekovic.
Wyndham Chia says, many say Rafa is not good on all surfaces. He has 6 non-clay slams. That alone is better than many great players. And as I have mentioned earlier, he is the only one since Laver to have won a slam on each surface at least twice. He's good on all surfaces, but truly exceptional on clay. And even when Federer and Djokovic cannot compare on grass and hardcourt respectively. Thank you for defending Nadal. I love this. Him and I are the only ones who are like Nadal, like true Nadal fans. The other ones love Djokovic and they like Nadal. That's good. I didn't know. I mean, I don't usually do all the research and the statistics on the player that I like, but he does it for me. I
Well,
guess.
at least you have one Nadal fan. Look,
He's right. He does have 6 non-clay slams, and no one gives him credit for in this group. No one gives him credit. He's won 3 U.S. Opens, which is more than Djokovic. 2 U.S. Opens.
Nice. Great comment. Like it.
Next comment. Aisu Koyu. Novak bounces the ball 12 to 15 times, not 25 times.
Oh, we have proof here.
Sorry. In 2012 at the Miami Open, he bounced the ball 29 times at match point.
Trivial.
Sorry.
But
and there's many more tournaments I can come up with.
But
average 12 to 15.
In all fun and games here, Carla and I have been roasted a couple of days in a row on comments and facts, and I guess half of our thoughts are like, geez, man, there's some tough customers out here. We got to make sure we're on point. So Carla was like, I swear I've seen him bounce the ball like 3 million times.
And I've counted too.
So she looked it up and found
many
example.
matches. Yeah.
That's just Carla for you. Sometimes if you call her out, sometimes we can be in the kitchen talking about just something off the wall, like.
And I have to prove it wrong.
And she'll stop cooking, she'll stop doing whatever with the kids and sit down and just start looking it up. And she'll go for like an hour all feisty and be like, just to tell me like that chair was made in Germany and not France.
Yeah.
Like she'll go on and on. So she doesn't take it lightly. So she did find an example, and hopefully that's not inaccurate information.
It's not. It's actually not inaccurate.
All right.
Stimpy Boy says thanks for the 10 stuff.
Go Stimpy.
And he made his 10 picks, but like I said, we won't go into
Give him his 10 picks.
Okay, fine.
Give him his 10.
Nadal, Djokovic, Federer, Cilic, Zverev, Del Potro, Dimitrov, Anderson, Thiem, and Carreno Busta or Goffin. He's injured, so I don't know.
So him and I are very similar, except I don't have the Carreno Goffin deal, and I think we're pretty much similar there.
Yes.
And again, you have to be careful who finishes the year top 10, because if they have a lot of points to defend at the U.S. Open and they lose, then people will jump them. So it's a tough question, the top 10 at the end of the year. Great question. What about the women's?
Did not say.
Oh, he didn't do the women's.
No.
Snippy, where's your top 10 women at, bro? Come on.
All right, next comment. AJ Malfoy says, Wawrinka strikes fear into my heart, but I do really like Stan. You should strike fear.
I like him too.
He strikes fear. He has a beautiful game.
Do I think in 3 out of 5 sets he'll beat Djokovic?
He's getting better, Justin. He's getting better.
What I see from Federer right now, Wawrinka will win 3 out of 5 over Federer, because what we saw in Cincinnati was just lazy. However, Djokovic 3 out of 5 right now, head-to-head versus Wawrinka. I say Djokovic wins in 4 sets.
But Wawrinka wasn't expected to win the 2016 U.S. Open. As a matter of fact, when he came in, he was not. No one expected him to win.
That won't happen.
And he did. Okay. New viewer, new comment. Rahul Chakraborty. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name
Let's
wrong.
go, Rahul. Let's go.
Nole beat Rafa and Roland Garros 2015. At first, he said semifinals. You guys have very poor memory. And I said, thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't remember that at all. I think Rafa had a bad 2015 year, like really bad with injuries and stuff. But he actually, he said semis at first. He beat him in the quarters.
Okay, great.
That's good.
Correction.
I didn't know. I didn't remember, so I appreciate the comment.
Go. Corrections are important.
Yeah.
The last thing we want to do is come up with things that are incorrect, because some people may watch this and
I didn't remember at all.
Yeah, the facts being on point are very important. So thank you for that.
Yeah. AJ Malfoy says, you guys should take a day or two. Hope this isn't too stressful for you guys. Well, I think we already explained that it's been a long
Yeah,
4 shows was too long.
So I really appreciated these type of comments from Kiyosama, from Rahesh, from Malfoy on a personal level. Again, and I won't reiterate what I said in the first video. Carla and I are married with 5 kids, and some days are longer than others. Again, yesterday was kind of a fast. Like, it's always fast paced, and since we've met, it's been fast paced. We've never stopped. Ever. Her dad always says, "You guys can sleep when you die." Great job, though, right?
Well, he always said that to me as a kid. He used to wake us up at 5 in the morning, go train, and he said, "Why are you sleeping? You can do that once you die."
Yeah, I mean, my dad used to. I'd come home from school. I'd be on the court for 6 hours. I'd come home, do homework. He'd have my sister at the court till 10, 11 at night. Come home, check both of our homework. Then we go to bed, and we start over in the morning at 5:36 in the morning, and that was our entire lives. It was our entire lives as kids. So we always go hard no matter what.
Yeah. If I wouldn't be doing this show, I would be doing something else.
In terms of stress, I mean, sure, there's some days us human beings are thinking about this and thinking about that. Or the 2-year-old, just like now, is going haywire inside.
No, he's fine right now.
So last night, for me, again, no excuses, but I knew when I got done with the show yesterday, 4 parts. I knew number 1, it was too long. I knew number 2, we had to figure out how to read the comments better, and we want your input on that. 3, it was like 3 in the morning when I got done downloading it. So with that said, it's not that it's not stressful. We do this anyway in the car when we wake up. It's not that it's stressful there, but I think as human beings, some days are better than others. And I do appreciate the personal sentiment. Take a day off, whatever, because some days we can't do this.
No, there'll be some days where we won't be able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've been dealing with this injury, surgery, and everything else for a couple of weeks, if not going on 3 weeks now. So there are some days where she goes to the court with the kids alone. So like yesterday, she comes back after 3 hours at the tennis court, drenched in sweat. It's hot. I'm cooking, still limping around, and then got wrapped up in a 4-part show, which was my fault.
Well, we had to split it because we had a visit from your dad. And then
yeah, my dad came over. He's a retired doctor. He's been monitoring the leg and so forth. So
we started late.
Part
3, yeah.
I should have called timeout and called off yesterday, but I was excited about doing it, and it just got out of hand.
Yeah.
So Malfoy, Kia, Rahesh, Ivan Kovo, Stimpy Boy, and I'm missing a bunch of names. Thanks all of you for that. It went personal here. And not just, someone throwing out the... we do this for statistics and sport talk, but when it gets personal like that in a good way, let's go! Welcome here anytime.
Right.
Let's go.
All right, Adam West said the next comment. Djokovic is the only one that could beat Nadal at the French Open 2019. So that's the second time we get an opinion about, who's going to win the French Open next year.
Who'd she say? Novak too?
Adam West said Djokovic is the only one that could beat Nadal.
2 people with the same comment, and again, I third it. I agree.
Okay. Rahesh says, Carla, just a quick note. Please check who has the number 3 when Roger Rafa were playing. Tsonga, Berdych, Cilic, Ferrer all existed, but Novak worked his way up against all the odds. Stayed at 3 for a long time, until 2010, 2011. Forget for a moment about Roger Rafa. I think who else could have captured the top? All we're trying, but no one could. So what's the difference? Novak had. All he had was his willing to go to the top by working hard, not fearing Federer or Rafa, and improve his game. And trust me, only he did it, and it's fact. Very true. I mean, there's nobody else could have challenged him the way Novak has.
I was always somewhat of a fan. I'm not going to say a staunch fan, but I was always very fond of Thomas Berdych.
Me too. I loved him. Loved him.
A really handsome gentleman. He has these eyes that'll just kind of captivate
He was like a tall gladiator.
He made some finals. I think he played Nadal at the Wimbledon final, if I remember correctly. Please don't kill me on that fact, but I think that's the case.
He played against Nadal at a Wimbledon final.
Yeah,
he did.
So and obviously that didn't turn out too well for him there. But nonetheless, I like Berdych a lot. I thought he would win a major, and unfortunately, it just didn't happen. As far as Ferrer, didn't he mention Ferrer? He mentioned
Ferrer too. Ferrer just wasn't powerful enough.
Yeah, and Ferrer's a grinder. He's still grinding, but Ferrer's just been an inherent runner. He's like half of Nadal.
And Tsonga, again, has so much talent, but he can never finish the match.
I thought when Tsonga beat Federer at Wimbledon, I think it was a quarterfinal or a round of 16 at Wimbledon a few years back, and don't kill me if that's off, it could have been a semi. I don't think Tsonga made a final, did he?
No.
I think it was a semi or a quarter where he beat Federer.
I don't think he's ever made a final.
But he was down 2-0 against Federer. I forget the year. Maybe it was like 2010 or 11 somewhere. Again, I may be wrong, so don't shoot me. Federer was up 2 sets and I think even a break, and somehow managed to lose that, just like he did against Anderson not long ago.
He did that at the U.S. Open too, Tsonga.
So, again, if that's off, I don't know. But I thought Tsonga would do something as well, but I thought Berdych was better than Tsonga.
I agree. Next comment. Stimpy Boy said, Justin, don't make it 4, please. Let it be 3 at the most. That's okay, I think. And do a little easier so you can have time to rest and sleep tonight.
Let's go! So, I heeded the advice from Stimpy. I heeded the... Stimpy says, hey, don't go 4. I didn't mean for it to, bro. I'm so sorry. Did not mean to. It just happened that way. It wasn't thought out. We were busy all day, and we just said start reading, and it got out of hand. But we came prepared for this one. 2, as far as rest, you know, we get the usual rest. I think, again, sometimes with 5 kids, you get weary towards certain parts of the week, and then you jump back in it the next day. So
right.
it's a ebb and flow type deal.
Okay, next comment. Random Chia says, are you... Oh, and Rajesh sent us some videos. Thanks for the videos.
Appreciate the videos. And one was... both were Djokovic related, and one had to do with the Super 9. All right.
Random Chia says, are you aware that there are websites to watch both men and women matches for free? I didn't know that. Thank you for the information. He sent it to my email. I got it, and now we use it.
Yeah, and by the way, our email is
5ktennis@mail.com.
5ktennis, no spaces. You can't space email anyway. Again, I'm naive when it comes to this stuff. 5ktennis@mail.com. Not Gmail, not AOL.
At mail.com.
5ktennis@mail.com.
Okay.
All right.
Next comment.
And then she said she does a Facebook thing for this too. There's
well,
one.
I'm fixing it. It's Justin space Carla space Davis, and then 5 space K tennis.
She got this wrong.
Or 5K space tennis.
She got this wrong on 2 videos. I had some messages. Hey, this is wrong. I
didn't realize it was spaced out.
On Facebook, it's actually Justin Justin space Carla Carla space Davis. You'll see our pictures there with the tennis court business stuff. We have a 5K tennis one, and it's capital 5, capital K, space, capital Tenn, or capital T, then lowercase ennis. I don't know if that matters. And then on Instagram, it's actually together. It's capital 5, lowercase k, and then lowercase tennis. So Instagram is jumbled, and the other 2 are not. Again, I didn't set these up. She did, but I'm becoming more savvy with it.
Well, sometimes if names aren't available, they put those spaces in between, but I'm going to request for it to be together.
And then she has
Twitter is 5K Tennis 1.
Space?
No space. 5K
so
Tennis
5K
1.
Tennis 1. I don't have any of these on my phone. So if you want to talk to her or you hit those outlets, I don't have a problem with it. It just goes above my head, and my old phone doesn't support it, a lot of it. So if you want to talk to Carla or have her contact me, that's great. But more than likely, if you hit any of those, you're going to be talking to her. I'll put my name in a parentheses if I see it, so you know it's me. But if there's no parentheses with name, it's her.
Right.
All right.
All right, Kiyosama says, thanks for another great show / discussion. Trust me when I say more than appreciate you taking the time to read and respond to each and every comment out there. However, you wanted suggestions on how to keep short and keep viewers engaged, and these are only my suggestions, so feel free to discard them as you wish. I'm glad to see that more subscribers are signing up, and I feel with the U.S. Open approaching, you get a few more. So I mean, she gives us basically tips on how to get better. I mean, it's long.
Yeah, just what are the highlights of those tips?
Well, she says, pick and choose your comments to showcase.
Okay.
Sure, we all love hearing mention our names, but with more subscribers and more comments, poor Carla will have to keep up with this.
All right, pause right here. Yes, that was my fundamental issue yesterday. Is 2 things. One, I felt bad because when we got done after a couple of hours, I felt bad because she read so much she could hardly talk. 1. 2 is, again, we do this for you because for half of our lives living here in the South, we have been basically without any type of tennis talk. And I know if I called a show and we were talking about tennis, I would respect the fact that they mentioned my name. Hence why we have always been very formidable in terms of not wanting someone's name to go unnoticed. But she's right. You can't read for 2 hours every day.
No, you can't.
So if we missed anyone today as we get to the end, please let us know. Kia, today we did topics and read the topics and the name. You asked me to change a thumbnail or
that's the next
to put
one.
pictures in our business.
That's the second one.
So I did that too as well. So let us know if the thumbnails are better, which are the little pictures outside of the deal. And again, I'm just learning that as well. So I put our 5K Tennis business logo and then a couple of pictures of who we're talking about within it. So maybe for this, I'll put a picture of the U.S. Open, 5K Tennis business logo, and 2 players or something. But just let us know if it's going in the right direction or the wrong direction, because again, this is for you. This is your show.
Right.
We're just along for the ride.
All right, last comment of the day. Rahul says, I have a question. Are you guys a couple? Yes, we're a couple, married with 5 kids. Been together for a while.
That's not the first time we've had that question, though, right?
No.
So, yes, great question. That's not the first time we've had this question. We met because of tennis. I was a licensed coach through a particular organization. She was learning the process. She reached out to me to help her because she lived in Panama City, Florida, and I lived in a different town in Alabama. So we met, and it didn't take long before I wasn't showing her the tennis ropes anymore, and we were doing other ropes. Actually, the first time we met on top of a parking garage, and it was dark, and I didn't really think she'd be that good of a tennis player, so I was like, get that racket right there. Picked up a racket, and we kind of poached up this parking garage, and we ended up playing tennis under a street light and had security run us off at like 1 in the morning because I really wanted to see if she could hit a tennis ball. But we met because of coaching through the game, and that's how we met. So tennis brought us together the same way as it has brought us together with all of you. All right? My road dog right here, my soldier. Little 2-year-old right here is here doing big things. We're at the end, believe it or not. Hey, Justin, come over here, buddy. Will you put him in your lap?
Come on, come here. I want to show you something. That's all right. Go ahead.
He's gonna drop that.
Come here. Come here.
All right, so we got the little guy out here. So this is one of those things we were talking about. Sometimes if he knocks that camera over, we're in trouble.
Okay, well, just continue then.
All right, so the type things. Hey, brief interruption sometimes emanates a little uneasiness, but he'll be all right. He's a good boy. So this is the end of it. Believe it or not, we are at the end of this thing.
Here, show me.
Hey, show me the bucket, Justin. Here, get the bucket, Justin. So this is the end of the show, and we got through it. We're about 25 minutes in. I'm going to part with a few topics. I can't work.
No, I will.
I can't work.
You finish it and
we'll come back out. So we're gonna end with a few topics. Kids, what you gonna do? You know? He's been in there for about an hour. He's a trooper. He's a really good boy. He's already hitting the ball at 2, at least throwing it up and hitting it. He misses sometimes, but he still hits. He's a good boy. Kanta today withdrew sick from her current tournament. Is that a big deal? Open for discussion. I personally don't think Kanta has a shot at the U.S. Open. I wish the best for her, but she's been through a rough go here the past few tournaments or past year. I just mentioned while you were gone that I had a few ending comments or topics to discuss really quickly.
Okay.
And my first one was Kanta withdrew from the current tournament she was playing in. Any implications for you with Kanta pulling out?
No, I mean, she shouldn't even play that tournament. When you're a top player, you shouldn't be playing those tournaments.
I don't think she's a top player anymore. The British #1 is Heather Watson.
No, she's not. That's when she qualified.
Oh, she qualified #1. Okay, I thought Heather Watson was anyway. I may be wrong there. Who is the British #1? I thought it was Heather Watson. Again, she just called me out that I was wrong with that.
Heather Watson is playing qualifying rounds at the US Open.
You're right.
You should be the top British girl.
I'm wrong. So she qualified #1. All right, she was the #1 qualifier for Britain. Or the
I'm
#1
not
seed.
saying that she's in the qualifying rounds.
Okay.
I don't know.
Second thing, Rod Laver doubts that Roger will win the U.S. Open. Do you agree with Rod Laver?
Yes, I do.
I agree with him too. Again, Laver is one of those players that my father would have me watch as a child on old Beta and VHS and stuff you could hardly make out, and it's something that you could. But Laver, to me, is a respectable tennis player. He's been around the block. I don't particularly care for this Laver Cup thing, and I don't think it has anything to do with Les's name and kind of the chivalry behind it. That's another story for another day. I don't care about that glorified exhibition type stuff, but I agree with Laver. I don't think Roger will win this U.S. Open. Bernard Tomic, out of the qualies, was up a set on Kokkinakis, ends up losing the next 2 decisively. How much time?
28.
Ends up losing the second 2 sets decisively in qualies. I was hoping Tomic would easily make the main draw and would maybe win a round or 2. I've always had a kind of a special place in my heart for Tomic, not because he's a superb player. He's shown some signs of brilliance at times, but most of the time just kind of average. But he reminds me at a certain point in my life where I was kind of the same. I looked lost. I mean, I know what I wanted to do, but then again, there was so much else going on. I never could get dedicated where I wanted to be, and now I'm old. So I feel like I missed a whole bunch in my life because of not being able to focus at his age, and I see that in him. And I hope Tomic at some point gets back into his best form. I wish the best for Tomic. Serena, she's getting ready to go. How far does Serena go? How far does she go?
She can win it.
She can win it?
Yeah, you never know.
She could, but I doubt it. So, hey, comment. How far does Serena go here? Let's get the women's stuff going. How far does Halep go here?
I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Sasha Zverev hires Ivan Lendl. Sorry, helicopter. Sasha Zverev hires Ivan Lendl as a coach. Will it make any difference? Will he finally break through now?
Well, maybe he needed his dad to stop coaching because his dad's his coach, right? I don't know if his dad's coach, but one of the ones that brought him up to the pro level. Ivan Lendl is serious, so he could help his game. He helped Andy Murray.
Yeah, again, this whole hire the hotshot coach with the big name that's been around, I think it's Wilgus. I mean, you have, the Boris Beckers, and you have the Ed Burrs, and you have the Agassiz that have all really tried to coach, and some of them have done, something, and some of them have not. Again, if I'm a coach, I want the guy that's been in the trenches, the Magnus Normans, who is Djokovic's coach, Vajda or something. Those are the kind of coaches I want. I don't need someone that's, I don't want Roger Federer to coach me because I just want the guy in the trenches. I don't see how a big name gets into coaching. All right. So anyway, can Kyrgios win this?
No.
Okay. I don't think so unless he grows up mentally. But can Kyrgios win this? Will he? Will he act like a clown? I like Kyrgios, but I really don't like the attitude. What's he gonna do? Will Andy Murray ever be a threat again?
No.
No? I don't think so either. I didn't think he was a great threat.
31 minutes.
Okay, 31 minutes. Can Edmund represent Britain?
No.
The young kid from Canada, Felix Auger-Aliassime, can he get through qualifying and make the main draw?
Too soon.
2 years, I think he could be in top 20. All right, so that's it. I'm going to end it for here. Today, we got it within 2 shows. Let's go! So thanks so much to everyone, and a big warm hug to Kia. Big warm hug to Kia, Rahesh, Malfoy, and a lot of others for thinking personally about us, taking time, and helping us get better for all of you. But for us, again, we never stop. You can see we're right back on it with him. But thanks again, and I'm going to give everyone a big let's go. Much love and respect, and as Carla always says,
Adios.
like, subscribe, share, and we will see you mañana. Adios.